a child labor? Who does it affect? Does it only exist in poor countries? Or it exists in rich countries too? Today around the world there are many children who works as a child labor. These works include mining, sex trafficking, agriculture, and some other.
All around the world, millions of children go to work instead of going to school. 218 million of them, to be specific, or 1 in every 7 children worldwide. That staggering statistic is from a new report by the International Labour Organization, released as the United Nations marks its day against child labour. 166 million child labourers are under 14. 74 million of those risk their lives in dangerous jobs.
In most poor countries, like Angola, most of the children work on agriculture and mining. My interviewee is Dr. Deborah Levison. She works on child labor with UNICEF. So my first question is, why is child labor a big problem in sub-Saharan countries?
Well, as you may well know, in many countries, especially low-income countries, young people are considered quite grown up by about the age of 15 or 16. So that means that there probably are many children who have lost either 1 or 2 parents. Now, in that situation, sometimes there's no adults left to take care of so many children.
Oh, okay.
You know, each grandmother can only take so many.
Yep.
So sometimes it's the older children taking care of the younger ones.
Yep.
And in that case, they really have no option. Then the older children and sometimes the younger children also will do some work in order to pay for food and sometimes to pay for schooling for the younger ones. Also, Angola has a lot of farming,
Yes.
right? It's
Yep.
highly agricultural, not so much industry.
Right.
And there's also some mining there, but agriculture is, I think, the biggest source of work. Most of the children who are working, if they still have parents who are with them, then they're working for their own parents or their other relatives on farms that are family farms. So, you know, that kind of child labor is considered acceptable in many countries as long as the work that is being done is not too hazardous. So some kinds of work are hazardous. That means they could be dangerous, and some kinds of work are definitely problematic. and other kinds of work are sometimes problematic depending on the conditions of work. So if the supervisor or the boss is abusive and makes the children work long hours, then it's a problem. If the children are also going to school and they're working a few hours on the farm before or after school, then it may not be a problem. And usually, even with the public schools, there are some fees that have to be paid to the teachers. Children and families are required to buy uniforms. In many places, what I find is that if kids are out of school, it's often that, number one, the schools are too expensive or not available, or too far away, or the schools can be really terrible. You know, there are some schools where they have 80 or 90 children for one teacher.
Yeah, large classroom.
Large classrooms, very, very hot, very dark. The teachers may beat the children. If they're sitting in the school, are they getting any value? Right? I mean, it's bad enough in American public schools that are crowded and have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids goofing off, right? And a lot of kids not learning. But if you have so many difficulties within your school, many children do not learn under those conditions. I mean, sometimes work is the problem, and sometimes school is the problem, and sometimes you have kids who don't have good options for schooling, and they have also bad options for work. We can say a much higher percentage of young people work in poor countries. Most of that work is unpaid on farms, or maybe it's unpaid in like girls do a lot of unpaid work in their own homes, cooking and cleaning and washing laundry.
People should stop assuming that all child labor is bad and work is bad for children. And we should think much more carefully about what's the best for children in particular situation, especially when they can be combined with a decent schooling. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope you learned something today.